Could you briefly explain your conception of normative empire Europe?
Conceptualizing the European Union as a normative empire, or as an empire, may be very counterintuitive on the one hand, but if you're thinking about the European Union as a very vast territory, which is territorially unstable over time, it is expanding. It has very fuzzy borders, and it has basically been pursuing interests that are very typical of empires, which is to stabilize the periphery, draw economic advantages from it, export the imperial order, cultivate elites there. So we can think about this from this perspective as the EU as an empire, normative in the sense not only that it has a clear civilizing mission, on discourse in particular, but also that very specifically it tries to export a specific set of rules and practices to the MENA region, or to its periphery more generally speaking, which is basically about regulatory convergence serving the interests of the empire, if you wish.
In what ways has the EU acted as a normative empire towards the MENA region?
Well, as I was saying, it has been trying to export specific rules, standards, practices to the MENA region, with it trying to achieve regulatory convergence of those MENA states to the European rules and practices. It has been also co-opting the states in North Africa and the Middle East, particularly North Africa, into the management of border control, into the European management of border control. So the whole idea is about, and it has been cultivating elites there as well, so the whole idea is about expanding the imperial order, if you wish, or the European order, stabilizing the periphery, cultivating elites there, mainly for the purpose of stability and economic interests.
How does Europe's response to the Arab Spring reinforce the idea of the EU as a normative empire?
Well, first of all, I think that it's important to keep in mind that the EU has not really changed its policy towards the MENA region, comparing before and after the Arab uprisings. Very clearly, the priorities are stability and economic interests, stability and security defined in the broad sense, which also includes the prevention of unwanted migration. These have been the main interests of the European Union. It has continued the policy of trying to achieve regulatory convergence, which are very positive for a good business environment. In all of that, the issue of human rights and democracy are certainly not the first priority. Certainly the European Union is happy to support democratic development wherever it takes place, but that doesn't mean that this is the first priority, and it doesn't mean that the EU does no longer cooperate with authoritarian regimes, as we have seen. So from this point of view, there is certainly a way of continuing to export rules and practices that are EU rules and practices, regulatory convergence, but there's a very clear priority about which are stability and security concerns, sometimes at the expense actually of democracy and human rights.